told you they like you. See? Can't you tell?
On with the important stuff, David.
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. A question and a follow-up, if I may. In your time in Green Bay, the team went to the playoffs in 8 consecutive seasons. Can you talk a little bit about how a team needs to put itself in that position year in and year out to have a better chance to realize its full potential?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talk about it time and time again here. I think that's why when we refer to building a program, the consistency, the key components is really what you're after, and every organization is different. The change in your personnel from year to year, obviously, I think we're 25% change of roster from last year. So, I mean, all the things you do program-wise need to account for, your formula, player acquisition, the draft and develop, mindset, and I think that's a huge part of, being efficient, and especially today's climate. It's more and more you're being limited with your time with your players, so you have to factor that in. And I think today's player, and I know especially our football team, they do a tremendous job away from here, getting together, individually, whether it's, Dak at his home, working with receivers and things like that. So clearly voluntary, but I just think it's important that you're in tune with all those things, because at the end of the day, we're all playing under the same set of rules. We're all playing under the same set of, roster structure and development, and it's just all these different arenas to compete in. So, and that's what I love about the National Football League. I mean, parity is evident in everything that we do.
Do you feel going into your 3rd season here, you've built this to the point where you have the potential to do that now, to make a prolonged run in the postseason? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think this really feels more like a year 2. Having the experience of going through it before. I know in year 1 in my past experience, there's 1-4, 4-8. And I just can remember not really feeling like it was getting to where you want it, and then you win 4 in a row, and then you springboard into a 13-3 NFC Championship appearance. So I mean, there's things that you're always trying to be coordinated and come together in that. And I think a lot of what we're doing now, there's so much more understood. The importance of regularity and flow, and being efficient, whether how you practice, all those things. I mean, it all adds up, and because it gives you the ability to be consistent. And at the end of the day, it's about playing your best football on Sundays.
Todd Archer of the ESPN. You've talked to us a lot about September football. Are there things that you just kind of have to accept that are going to happen early in the season? And with your regulars not playing in any of the preseason games, does that lead to more unknowns?
Well, I think it's a little bit in the category of you get what you emphasize, and you get what you tolerate, and I not that I'm saying you're negative, Todd. I think accept has a little bit of a negative connotation, that the things go wrong, you have to accept it. Is that what you're referring to? I'm trying to give you a good answer here.
Okay. Well, no, just that, hey, it's going to be a little sloppy early in the season. You have to kind of accept that a little bit, because there's so much newness.
Negative. I didn't want to say it. But,
I prefer to call it the truth.
Yeah. No. Okay. I'm just trying to get on your page here. So get into your realm for a couple minutes. But it's no, I think clearly, if you look at September football, I mean, same deal. I mean, we're all competing. The whole league's undefeated this week. Everybody has the same goal. Everybody's had the same amount of time to prepare. Some teams have more experience than others. You look at just the general makeup of their veteran experience, versus our youth. So all those things. I mean, these are things that I think about. This is how I plan, and this is how I forecast. But at the end of the day, the scheme is always a challenge at the beginning of the year, because everybody's had a whole off season to prepare. So you're going to see new wrinkles and new ideas. You may see certain concepts that you hadn't seen in a certain situation last year. Maybe you see it this year. All those things, and that's all part of having a little bit of extra time in preparing. And I know specifically we tend to spend more time on ourselves because that's just what I believe in. Because at the end of the day, it's about, what we're going to do, how we're going to attack. I just think in the experience part of when you're talking about the other guy too much, then to me you're not putting the time and energy on what's most important, and that's your own performance.
Clarence Hill, 4-Star Telegram. Speaking of you, we haven't really talked much about Tyron Smith this week, and how has he looked? And can you talk about just the chemistry and continuity on that line and how that's developing this week?
Yeah, Tyron's doing well. I mean, I saw him this morning.
I'm sorry, Tyron.
Oh, you said Tyron.
I know.
Well, I thought you were being nice.
I'm sorry.
Can we talk about Tyron? He's doing well. Okay, but I'll go to Tyler.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, Tyron's doing well. So he's down in the training room every day.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Think the things we have to accept.
September interview.
September interview questions. Yeah, that's a good point. So I think the thing with Tyler, I've now lost your question because you're so funny. You're so positive with it.
Yes, I'm a positive guy. Tyler Smith, how's he look this week? Just the chemistry and those guys on the line going into the week.
Yeah, I think he's had really good 2 weeks. 2 weeks of work. So far. This will be our biggest practice of the 2 week period. Just with the pads and the length, and now having the opportunity to pretty much have all the situational offense in. So, but no, I feel really good about his work, and at the end of the day, he just has to get settled in and play. And I think that's really a lot of it is September football. I mean, we just need to get out there, get into a rhythm, make sure our pace and operation, everything's in line, and play our best football. Because at the end of the day, I feel strongly if we play our best football, we'll win the game.
Tim Calishaw, Dallas Morning News. To follow up on David Moore, the Dallas Morning News question earlier, when you start a season, is your realistic goal to win the East and be healthy in January, or make the playoffs and be healthy in January? And I ask that because in Green Bay, you won the division a bunch of times, but the year you actually won the Super Bowl, you were a wild card, so I don't know how you view that.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is, you have to get in. I mean, I think we all recognize that. How you do it, history really proves to be relevant. I think winning on the road, statistics support is clearly, not as difficult as it was, 15, 20 years ago. I think really the way college football's gone, I think the way, the ability to play at the line of scrimmage is a part of that. Where the crowd noise is, something that I think it's like anything in this league. If somebody's struggling with something, we're going to figure it out. We're going to prepare and be better at it. Or no different if someone's doing something very well. People are going to figure that out and scheme to take it away. So I think all those things play into that.
Mike, Jory Epstein, USA Today. Several teams across the league announced their team captains this week. Will y'all have season-wide captains or just game by game? And take us, I know you've mentioned it in the past, but take us through your philosophy on that.
Well, to me, being a captain is obviously falls in the category of leadership. And I think leadership is not just something that goes to, a certain number of people. It's a good format, not opposed to it, but this is what I believe in, and it's just the way I've always done it. I think and it's really having the experience of being around a very young football team. When you have young players, you get into a habit of, okay, this guy is really not going to be a leader until he gets his second contract, or he's not going to be a leader until he's established himself. Well, that may be 3 or 4 years. I mean, you don't have that much time to wait on those type of key components of your culture. So I've always felt that leadership is something that they all need to learn and develop, and they all have a natural expression of leadership, whether it's just in their practice habits. There's always different levels and types of leadership. So leadership's just not the guy that talks, in the team meeting, or leadership's not the guy that does the call up that says all the great things when the camera's on you. I mean, that's, those are expressions, those are glimpses of what it tends to look like. So I've always felt that leadership is something that I think every head coach is trying to develop with his coaching staff. I mean, it's something we're going to do tomorrow for the first time here. We're going to have the general of the week. It's something I've done in the past where an assistant coach is going to be given 6 to 8 minutes in a Friday team meeting to, be in charge, and it's something that, I've started in the past because I was like, how can I develop these younger coaches? How can I develop their leadership skills? It was something that I knew the first time I stood in front of the team meeting, there was a whoa. I mean, there's a lot more people in here than when you were a coordinator. So I think all those things, or those are the things that keep me up at night. Those are the things I enjoy. But leadership is something that we're trying to develop, and I think having the weekly captains gives these guys an opportunity, because there is captain responsibility each week, and it, you try to spread that out throughout your whole team, and you're in tune with guys. For guys, young guys starting to have a lot of progress, you want to reward them and give them a leadership opportunity too. So, and it's not as much about what they say; it's more about them having the opportunity to open up their heart, and express themselves. And you find out a lot more about people if you just give them an opportunity. So, boy, that was a long answer. Sorry.
Have you decided which coach will be that general tomorrow?
Joe Witt, General Joe Witt. You heard it here first. See, the team doesn't even have this, so they don't even know it's coming. So they won't find out, I'm sure.
At least for another 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not on social
Clarence,
media.
well, Clarence already got it out. He said,
Skyler Dixon with the AP, I was gonna ask that first to make sure we all got the answer to that before I asked this. You talked yesterday about, every game has kind of its own rhythm, and that was in the context of last year where you all tilted so heavily to the pass against Tampa. As a play caller, how do you know when when you reach that point in a game where maybe it's too strong to say, well, we're not gonna run the ball, we're giving up on the running game, but how do you get to a point in a game where you sort of know, okay, we're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to do this?
I'd put that in the category of balance, and I think balance goes a lot deeper than just being 50-50 run or pass. I think you have to balance your emotions as a play caller. I think you have to balance what the other guy's doing, what I wanted to do coming in here, what are my adjustments. You come in, you throw your fastballs, make sure you're throwing the curve, okay, but when are you going to throw the changeup? So I think all those things are paramount in how you call a football game, how you stay in tune with the ebb and flow. Everybody's competing there, and play calling is a fun arena to compete in. I mean, Kellen's going to be competing against Todd. I mean, both these guys have been studying each other, the whole time. Dan's going against Byron. So, I mean, it's just all those components, is a big part of the game and how it goes. So I think you have to be in tune with all those things.
Mike Edward with ESPN. You've been pretty open about saying everything you do offensively is designed to create success for your quarterback. Dak is going into this week 1 game against a good defense with a left tackle who's a rookie who played no snaps there in the preseason, and wide receiver has one guy who's caught a touchdown pass from him. How do you view the challenge that Dak faces in this particular circumstance?
Well, I think two things. I think, Ed, you got really two topics going here. I mean, we're talking philosophically how you want to design an offense, and I think the clear understanding of all of us, this is a quarterback league, and clearly we're, the rule changes, most of you were around in the early years and how the game was played then compared to now. So the importance on the quarterback position has always been at the forefront of this league, but I think clearly with the ability of, offensively to be able to attack more in space, because of these rule changes, just the way the athletes have changed, from generations before, aligned with the rule changes. I think all those things are important. So, I mean, philosophically, you have to make it about the quarterback. I mean, we looked at all that. We had a segment in today's team meeting with just all the playoff games, because, every single one of them it comes down to the last series or the last play. And in the end of the day, the quarterback has the ball in his hands every single play. He touches the football. So philosophically, and that's just the way I learned it, and that was one of the core principles of the West Coast offense. But now we're talking about winning a game, so I think that's another topic, and because now we're in the matchups, and we're into this guy's playing for the first time, he may be playing against this guy that's, been playing for 10 years, how they're going to go after him. So I think that is more game specific, and, and we're obviously aware of where we feel the matchups are and things we want to take advantage of, how we want to play, and it goes into it. That's, and September football is also always interesting on how it's evaluated too. I mean, it's just, if you run it so much in week 1, because, when you talk about balance, and this is, it was great advice that I thought was really good in personal life and also in football. And it was actually Pat Schottenheimer, had the opportunity to work for the Schottenheimers in Kansas City. and we were talking about the stresses of football on family life, and the thing was, it's, people talk about 50-50 relationships, and she said, just remember this. She goes, as a coach's wife, we clearly understand it's a selfish profession, and at the end of the day, the 50-50 comes when you're sitting on the porch. It's not going to be 50-50, at this point in your life, and I think that's really good sound advice.
But specific to this weekend,
I was giving you sound advice on how you evaluate September football. You got that part? Okay, yes.
Let's put the rocking chair on the porch because I'm getting pretty close to that as is Tad.
That was almost.
But specific to Dak and the challenge of not, having a young left tackle in a game where the defense generally is attacking and blitzing, and only having one really experienced receiver who's played at a high level.
Yeah, and I think you make very, very valid points, and I'm thinking it really. If you sit there and watch the way the game started last year, I've said it. You're like, well, why wouldn't he play you that way this year too? So, and that's the beauty of Sunday night. We get to go out and compete and see how they view it. And but at the end of the day, our goal is to play complementary football, and I think we're clearly built better for that this year than we were last year. Clearly, my first year. We have a defense that you can play to, and that's to me is a huge factor in not only getting to the championship but winning the whole thing. So, and I can only go off my personal experience. I had some great teams. I'm very fortunate to coach in the past, but one team I've coached that's been a top 5 defense, and that team won a Super Bowl. So I think there's a lot of merit history supports that. And, I think the ability for us to be more complementary and, where we're not so caught up in the statistics because complementary football, wins more games in the long haul.
We saw Gallup yesterday on the field for the first time. How did he look, and is it now like at the point, how does he feel the next day after he's done this?
I thought his workout was excellent really the last 2 days. Saw him this morning. He had a hip in his step, so that's good. So the recovery, he is, and I know I've answered this the same way you're probably tired of it, but he has checked every box all the way along. He's coming back. Physically he looks really good, but we don't have a time frame. That'll answer itself. But we've been very encouraged by the work.
No temptation to play him on Sunday?
I'm sorry?
No temptation to play him on Sunday?
Well, if he practices today, we'll talk about it.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. When you think of crowd noise, it's something that affects a visiting offense more, but for a home defense, in your experience, could it be something that stresses the communication? And if so, how are you preparing for that element?
Oh, absolutely. No, that's an excellent point. That's why you'll see, today we'll have, some crowd noise when the defense is up. So, you always try to work both sides of that. And, we're not also, naive to the fact that it's a Sunday night game. It's at home, and everybody loves to come to Dallas. So I'm sure it'll be, they'll have some presence. As far as presence as their fans, and so we may have to deal with a little bit also.
Anybody else? That's it? Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.